Who's a comedian nobody will ever convince you is funny? Waiting for the 10 billion James Corden and Amy Schumer answers. Carlos Mencia. Andy Dick. Ellen DeGeneres. I used to love Norm Macdonald, but these last couple of years is just a bunch of older recycled stuff. It's like he's not even trying anymore. I used to think Mitch Hedberg was funny. I still do, but I used to, too. Brendan Schaub is Blockbuster R the Fighter and the kid sends their regards. Hi Shane. Nick Cannon. Not only is he not funny, he's a garbage person. Lily Singh all the way. James Corden. There is only one correct answer to this question, and it is this pig. That guy with all the puppets, I don't even know his name. That Corden wanker. Kevin Hart at this point. Guy is so damn annoying. Jimmy Fallon. Jeff Dunham. Bill Maher. I used to find Jerry Seinfeld funny, in fact his show was my favorite. But now I just find him irritating. With age, I am beginning to see through him, and he is just a smug, arrogant prick. Larry David on the other hand often acts as a smug, arrogant prick, but I think he is in reality probably a nice guy. And he is extremely funny. Amy Schumer. Or anyone whose entire act is I said vagina so laugh. Dane Cook. Joe Rogan. Given how other comedians talk about him, I was expecting a comedy mastermind. It was probably the worst stand-up I've ever watched. Chris D'Elia. Trash. Joe Rogan. I have no idea how that dude got his start from comedy. His comedy is just awful. Russell Brand. Even before his recent sex pest issues and his shows, I always found him insufferable. As to me, he's the epitome of saying so much, but nothing at all. Useless and pointless soliloquies with fancy language that amount to nothing when analyzed. Reminds me of Jordan Peterson NGL. Amy Schumer. Norm Macdonald and Gilbert Gottfried have not come out with any new material in over a year. Bert Kreischer got enough of people like him in high school and college. He just comes off as loud and annoying. Also, Larry the Cable Guy. I'm glad he only lasted about 45 minutes. George Lopez. How did nobody beat me to that guy? Kevin Hart. Jeff Dunham. I have the same last name and everyone asks if I'm related. I say no. I don't find him funny. And they proceed to do the I'll kill you bit. Not funny. Never found it funny, but it follows me. Amy Schumer. Many, not all but many, of these new comedy bros, you know which ones I'm talking about. They also usually have a podcast that they can be traced back to. Steve Harvey. Tim Allen. Jeff Dunham. Andy Dick. Carrot Top. Andrew Dice Clay. Bill Maher. He will never be anything but a sleazy piece of shit in by book. Even with those fancy writers, he can't manage comedy. Leslie Jones. It's funny because I am yelling it. People going to hate on me for this, but Joe Rogan. Russell Brand. Pauly Shore. Leno. Fallon. George Lopez. To me, Ray Romano is the personification of a talking moose with a minor concussion. Whitney Cummings. Although he has passed, I could never find anything Sam Kinison screamed as even remotely amusing. Annoying. Gutfeld. I thought he was just another conservative talk show host saying all the usual talking points and trying to spark outrage. Recently found out that his show is actually supposed to be some sort of a comedy. I never found Joe Rogan particularly funny. He was good in news radio, great as a UFC commentator, and his podcast is one in the charts. But as a comedian he's blah. Pete Davidson. Bert Kreischer. What's weird is I love the comedians he is often associated with, like Tom Segura, Kathy Griffin, Rob Schneider. I've never found Amy Schumer funny. Jay Leno. OMG, how did he end up with The Tonight Show? Dane Cook. I'm gonna go with a more controversial answer that a lot of folks probably won't agree with. But I've never understood the appeal of Sam Kinison. I've watched multiple sets of his and I didn't find it funny in the slightest, just annoying and cringy. This is such a circle-jerk thread full of antiquated comedians that are no longer relevant. Down with Gallagher. Dice Clay. Stuttering John Melendez. Tiffany Haddish.